listening to the Marketing in Yoga Pants podcast, a podcast in sisterhood for female entrepreneurs that serves up savvy, actionable marketing advice and interviews with creative business owners who are in the trenches, building their businesses as we speak. The Marketing in Yoga Pants community is for you, the girl on her couch, in her yoga pants, top knot tight, hunched over her MacBook, trying her hardest to get the word out about her business. So in the name of supporting each other while supporting ourselves, bringing community, sound marketing advice, coffee, chocolate, and wine together for you, yoga pants wearing business owner, in a world where followers mean nothing but paying customers mean the world, join us on this week's podcast episode and in our private Facebook group where you'll meet your soul sisters and build your business in yoga pants. I launched this podcast and the community that goes along with it. That was huge for me. And that happened, I decided that was going to happen on March 31st of 2017. And then the podcast and community launched on June 1st, 2017. Only to be followed with probably my darkest time in the year, and that was pretty much all of June 2017, because I had just basically birthed this side project business baby, and I didn't have anything else to really focus on and challenge myself with. And while the podcast was just beginning to air, the first few episodes, and the community was growing, there was a lot of doubt around it. There was a lot of thoughts of, was this really worth it? Is this actually going to work? Has this just been a huge distraction from the work I was supposed to be doing? So there were lots of deep conversations happening within my own head during that month. But it's not all rainbows and butterflies. And I came out of that realizing that I am certainly motivated by the challenge and by the feat at hand. And that was a huge learning lesson for me, that I'm not necessarily motivated by things that maybe other people are motivated by. I learned from Shanna Skidmore and her signature teachings around our core motivators that I am truly motivated by the challenge. And that was a huge wake-up call for me. That was a big learning lesson right there in the middle of the year for me to kind of reevaluate. And at least at this stage in my life, I don't necessarily need to be motivated by having more time or even having more money. It's really the challenge. It's the challenge wrapped up in this work that fuels me every day. That's my reality right now. And it was a great learning, a great lesson for me to learn in 2017 of that's the stage I'm in right now. And that could change this coming year. It actually may change this coming year, just knowing what's coming down the pike for me. But at least in 2017, I was able to really learn that. Again, I learned that from Shanna Skidmore. I can link over to all of her work in the show notes if you want to check that out. The second major accomplishment in 2017 was my subtle shift, somewhat subtle, I guess, shift from building my business jam marketing group as a consultancy. I shifted from the consultant/agency model over to the coaching model. And I did not walk into 2017 thinking that was going to happen. That was not even on my radar, but it was certainly a faith-driven, hey, this is a great opportunity. There are people out there wanting to be coached by you, and you have the opportunity to offer coaching. And once I did begin offering coaching, I fell in love with it. So Now I only do marketing coaching, both one-on-one type of services, and then also I'm starting a group marketing coaching program here in the new year, which I'll talk about in just a little bit. But that shift from thinking I was a consultant and beginning an marketing agency to coaching was a major shift for me, because you guys, I had left my job at the end of 2016 thinking I was going to build an agency. I was a marketing and design agency, not a coaching business. I didn't really even have a coaching business on my radar at all. Um, so it was a risk. It was very calculated. I tested it out. I didn't just one day decide that I was going to do coaching and nothing else. I really took it slow. I took on just a couple coaching clients just to see how might this work, knowing that I had a great process to creating a business's marketing strategy, but not knowing how that would translate in the coaching model. And through the practice of it, and really the willingness of my first few clients to just, kind of hop in the car with me and go for a ride and just see how it worked, basically, I was able to really hone in on that signature process, know that it worked, really validated that it truly worked, and uh, was able to just fully switch, not do the consulting anymore, and just do the coaching. And I am so, so glad that I did that. I certainly chalk that up as an accomplishment for this past year. And then finally, my my major business accomplishment of 2017 was running my first group coaching program as a beta program. At first, I I had this thought, I had this dream of taking the process that I provide in my one-on-one coaching and packaging it into more of a group coaching opportunity for, at the beginning, I didn't have it all fleshed out. I thought that it was going to be more for uh, creative, big dreaming entrepreneurs just starting their businesses. And that turned out to be true. But in the beginning, I just felt like, you know what? Some people love the one-on-one coaching, but then I also see an opportunity and a need out there in these women that they're a little bit earlier on in their entrepreneurial journey. They're just getting started, and they don't necessarily need a one-on-one coach, but they could certainly find immense value in going through my marketing strategy process alongside other entrepreneurs in their same stage of business. And so this little inkling turned into, hey, okay, I need to test this out. I'm a big tester. I want to test things out before I go mainstream with them. Um, and so I sent out, I don't know, a couple dozen emails to my closest people. And I said, hey, this is what I'm doing, this beta program. If it's not for you, maybe it's for someone in your inner circle. Think about it, check it out, and let me know if you're for this beta program. And uh, well, long story short, I had 3 of those women take me up on that offer, and we embarked on a 12-week beta program of this group coaching that I had dreamed up in my mind. And now we're sitting here at the beginning of January, and that group beta program just finished up last week, and we're looking at opening up that group coaching program here this month in January 2018 uh, for its first public launch. I'm so pumped about that. And I wouldn't be able to be saying that right now had I not taken the step of doing the beta program, testing it out on those 3 ladies, and seeing where the holes were, seeing what could be improved, and making it the best possible program that it could be. And I'm really proud of myself for doing that. I really am. It was, it, beta programs, people talk about them all the time. But sometimes you're like, no, but this is a really great idea. I mean, is the beta program really going to help me that much? Well, I don't know about you, but it certainly did help me in this instance. And I really like to test stuff, and I like to experiment and tweak and grow. And that's what I did. And I'm just proud that I did that. And I know that the end product now, the program that I am just about ready to launch to all of you, is so ideal for the person that it's made for. So I can't ask for anything better than that. So those were my three main accomplishments in 2017 related to my business. It was the podcast, my shift to coaching, and then running that group beta program. And then, of course, life is going on outside of business. And the two main accomplishments outside of business were that I got engaged. I don't know if you can call that really an accomplishment, but it was definitely a huge life milestone for me. So I have to put that in there, right? And I also just closed on my very first income property. I was able to invest in a piece of real estate this past year, which was at the beginning of 2017, just a pipe dream, really. It was something that had been on my heart for a couple years, ever since I had bought my first house in 2014. I kept thinking, that was kind of fun. And I can see why it would make sense to invest in real estate and have income properties. But, at that time, I had just really spent all my money on a house. And so I didn't have any money to then go and invest in another one. But, ever since I bought that first house, it was on my heart. It was something that just kept coming up over and over and thinking, I'd love to do that someday. And then at the beginning of 2017, when I was sitting down to kind of map out my year and set my goals, I put on that list for one of my goals for 2017 was simply to prepare to invest in an income property. Not that I was going to buy one. I really didn't think that that was even possible for this past year. I did not see how that was going to happen, but I had it down to prepare. And, again, the ending to that story. I was not only able to prepare, but I also had the perfect opportunity to invest in an income property, and I did. And that was awesome. And I can definitely sit here and say that I'm pretty darn proud of myself for doing that. So that's what I did in 2017. Now, what I learned from all of that. Oh my goodness. Well, I already said that I learned that at least at this phase of my life, I am certainly motivated by the challenge of whatever I'm working on. If it's not challenging me, I'm probably not super motivated to do it, right? So I definitely learned that. But beyond that lesson, overall in 2017, there was a theme that now looking back on it, I can identify. At the time, I couldn't have said that this was happening, but now, hindsight is 2020. And what I can see now very clearly is that the year of 2017 was my year to really allow myself to define what I, as a human, truly value in this life. And of course, I could have figured this out far before I had my own business. So if you're sitting there and you're like, yeah, it must be nice to have your own business and decide what, you want to put out in the world. I can't do that. I'm still at my job. Let me be clear. I could have done this earlier, but for whatever reason, I was meant to figure this out this past year. And that figuring out process took some serious time. I mean, it took really the entire year to come into myself and give myself permission to say that, okay, I understand that there are people in my life and people in the world that value this, that, and the other thing. But these few things are what I value most in my life currently. And from that exploration and deep work and defining of those values, I was then able to make better decisions in my life and in my business. So at the end of 2017, I can look back and realize that every place that I grew, every place that my business grew, every place that I as a person grew, it was based on what I valued, not on what other people valued. And that's a huge distinction. Not based on how everyone else says that I need to grow my business, but it was I grew my business based on what I valued. And that feels great, obviously. And from that lesson, I have been able to continue to get clearer and clearer on those core values and begin, now that I'm looking at 2018, I'm basing my aspirations and my goals and my plans for 2018 on those core values that I've set for myself. And I can only imagine, with this clear vision of what at my core I value the most, I can only imagine how much more meaningful my work and my growth is going to feel at the end of this coming year, at the end of 2018. I'm really excited to see how that manifests within every space of my life. So that's really truly what I learned. That was the major lesson of 2017, was values are something to be defined and then applied if meaningful work and meaningful growth is truly what you want. And that is truly what I want. That's what I've based my entire business, my coaching business, Jam Marketing Group, off of. It's marketing coaching for creative, big dreaming entrepreneurs yearning for meaningful growth in their business, right? So I believe that meaningfulness stems from your core values and getting really clear on those and then applying them in every facet of your work. That's the only way that I see meaningfulness being the result, right? Meaningful work, meaningful growth. It's the only way it happens. That's what I'm seeing. That's what I've learned. And so all of my aspirations for 2018 have been built on the foundation of my 5 core values that I've defined for myself. So let me tell you about those. How about it? I'll tell you what my core values are, and then I'll tell you about how they're really already manifesting into a super exciting first quarter of 2018. So I have defined my top 5 core values as: first, close relationship; second, collaboration; third, freedom and independence; fourth, integrity; and fifth, meaningful work. Surprise, surprise, right? That's all I keep talking about. So close relationship, not just connecting, right? Not just having a bunch of coffee chats and connecting here and there and being a part of every stinking Facebook group under the sun. No, you know what? While that may grow my business, I don't know that I want to grow my business that way. I want to grow my business through close relationship, having relationships with both my one-on-one clients and my group coaching clients, that at the end of that time, or even, throughout that time with that client, they think of me as a friend and as a close companion, not just a coach. That I truly value. Secondly, collaboration and supporting one another. This so much mirrors my just my passion to bring women together, very much like I have with this podcast and creating the community at Marketing and Yoga Pants, but also uh, really diving into those close relationships that I'm building and seeing how that the people in that relationship can benefit one another, because it goes both ways. So collaboration is certainly a core value of mine. Freedom and independence, I kind of lump those together as one core value. Um, that is just innate within me. I think that's why I'm an entrepreneur. I think that's why I quit my job. Freedom, independence, that has always has always been a central theme to my life. Next is integrity, doing what you say you're going to do no matter what. I think this is another innate thing that, you know what? It's the only way I can respect someone. And so if respect is only possible if there is integrity there, then I am certainly going to uphold integrity um, as a very high value for myself. And then finally, meaningful work. I want to care about the stuff that I'm doing every day. I want to be challenged. I want to be motivated by the things that I'm motivated by. And I want to bring that to the people that I work with. So there's a peek into the very core of, of Brittany and her businesses. Uh, there you go. Those are my top 5 core values. So now let me tell you about how those 5 values are really already beginning to manifest themselves within how I've set up this next year, 2018. First of all, close relationship. So like I said, close relationship, I want every single client that I work with to view me as a friend, as a confidant, as really their partner, their companion, not just their coach. I really want to get in there. I want to be able to do deep work with them, and I want them to feel that safety as they work with me. And so, in order to allow those close relationships to be created, there are several things that I could riff on, but the main thing is that I have set a limit to how many one-on-one clients I will work with at one time, and that number is 8. I will not work with more than 8 one-on-one clients at once. And then I've also capped my group program. So my group coaching program is going to launch here at the end of January 2018. And while the group program is certainly more scalable than the one-on-one coaching, technically, I still have capped that program to only allow 10 clients to enter into that program at once. Technically, I think I could probably, I don't know, I could probably take on, with how it's set up, probably 20 clients, but that doesn't feel right to me. That 20, any more than 10, I just don't see how I could foster close relationship with over 10 people at one time in one program. And so I'm capping that program. I'm only letting 10 people in, period. Like, that is just how it's going to be. So that's one way it's that close relationship value is already coming into play. Now for collaboration, again, many ways this is coming in, but the main way that I want to focus on in 2018 is I want to be a part of a mastermind, one really powerful mastermind this year. And I also want to collaborate and partner with coaches throughout this year. I'm a coach myself, and therefore it is I don't know how you could, honestly, I'm just going to be really real with you right now. And I hope if you get offended, that's okay. If, if you're a coach and you don't have a coach, or you've never invested in coaching, I don't understand how you can even sell what you do. Like, I mean, you just have to have a coach. I mean, if I'm selling my own coaching and I find coaching to be valuable, I believe that it only makes sense for me to also invest in coaches. And so part of my collaboration core value is working with coaches that know more than me, and that can help me and keep me accountable and challenge me, and through that challenge motivate me. So that I'm definitely looking forward to. My core value of freedom and independence is most notably being seen in how I have planned to take the month of October 2018 completely off. Like literally not work for a single second in October. Why? Because I'm getting married October 6th. And so the week prior is just going to be, like just nuts. Why would I ever work the week before my wedding? And then I plan to go on a 2-week honeymoon at least. And then at that point, that's, getting to the end of October anyway. And so I realized, hey, I might be able to turn this month into, a quote unquote sabbatical month. I don't know. People are weird about that word, but an entire month off. And at first I definitely had some limiting beliefs around that thought. I'm thinking, like my clients really, I work with clients on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. What are they going to do? Like, how are they going to react to this? Maybe I won't have any clients if they know this is coming. And then huge thanks goes out to 3 women that I was able to do a mastermind call with, Jess Rodriguez, Chris Emmer, and Sarah Christensen. Oh my goodness, you ladies saved my life around this idea of taking October off. They encouraged me to know that, hey, you can totally do it. Like that is something you are able to decide for yourself. And once I had that support from them, that feeling of community and support and that collaboration, oh man, it just gave me the permission to say, no, for real. One of my core values is freedom and independence. And therefore I value the ability to be free for the month of October and not have to work. And so I won't. So I've got some plans in place to make that work out for everyone involved. But yeah, that's going to be a pretty big deal. My core value of integrity, I as I was preparing for this podcast episode, I was thinking, well, how is that really manifesting for 2018? And to be honest, this is not something that I feel like I have to work on very hard because I've put it into practice for so long. I come back to, I can't respect someone who doesn't do what they say they're going to do. And if they have to back out on their word, then as long as they explain why to me, and it's, a really reasonable explanation, then I certainly respect them. And so this is just something I do. This is just who I am. And I can say that firmly, and, just, I am a woman of integrity. And therefore, I would like you to know what I plan to do, the main things I plan to do this year. And so you can know that I'm going to do them. First of all, I'm going to run this group program here at the beginning of the year, starting at the end of January. And then I'm going to run it again this summer, starting in June. Okay, so 2 group programs, 2 runs of that. And then I'm also going to be publishing 2 courses this year and a book on Amazon. Okay? All right. So now you know. And because I'm a woman of high integrity, I'm going to go do that stuff. All right? Cool. All right. I like this. And then meaningful work, my final and maybe my most just feel good core value is meaningful work. And I believe the meaningful work that I'll do and that I will give permission to my clients to do is only possible if our work together is based on our core values. And so as I was doing, if you couldn't tell already, I'm pretty passionate about this stuff. And I really did some deep work over the past few weeks to walk into 2018 intentionally and really give not what uh, the business world or online entrepreneur world wants me to give you, but what you really truly need. And what I think that is not another planner. I know. Gasp. Not another planner. And I don't need to show you how to create a master schedule or a to-do list, or all of those things are really valuable, but I cannot start with those things. Those things are probably going to come up over the course of the year if you stick around with me, but the most important thing that I can provide to you right now is to show you how to define your core values, and then plan your year, plan your schedule based on those values. Okay? So that's what I want to do. And that's what I'm going to do in the free webinar that's coming up in January. Now, you might be thinking, well, Brit, but I just spent the last few weeks planning my 2018 and it's planned. Like why would I be a part of this webinar? I've already planned everything. That's totally fine. I'm actually encouraged and I'm glad that you've planned everything. What I think would be valuable to you is to still go through this training that I'm going to provide to you, defining your core values and helping you plan your this year. Go through that and really gut check the work that you've done up until this point. And it gives you the really clear glasses to look through when you're looking at the plans that you created, so you can gut check them against your core values and identify anything that might not make total sense, might not be completely aligned with your core values. And then it could also identify things in your plan that are totally in line with your core values and that you definitely should do, and gives you that much more support to go and do those things. Okay. So, all right. So I am, if you can't tell by now, oh my gosh, like what are you listening to? So I'm doing this webinar. I'm going to show you how to define your core values and then plan your year based on them. And that is going to lead you to meaningful growth in your business and in your life this year. Not just growth because this is how everyone's doing it now. Growth based on what you as a person in your core actually value. Okay. And so this webinar is going to be totally free. Obviously, it's a webinar, right? Totally free. It's going to be on Tuesday, January 16th at 4 p.m. Eastern. You can register for it by going to marketingandyogapants.com/webinar. Super easy. marketingandyogapants.com/webinar. And if you can't make it at that time and on that day to the live webinar, a replay will certainly be recorded and it will be sent to you right after we finish up the live training. But you're not going to get the replay unless you register for the live webinar. Okay, you've got to register. I'm not going to bug everybody. If you haven't registered, you're not going to get the replay. You're not going to get a few reminder emails. You have to register to be able to get the recording. Okay, that's just how it has to go. And yes, you know what? Let's be honest, you guys. Why do we do webinars? Typically, webinars are there to teach you something and then tell you about something that you can invest in, right? Like that's the point of a webinar. Yeah, and I'm going to do that this time. Now, last month in December, I did a webinar and I had nothing to sell you. I really didn't. I really just came across this thing that my clients were finding great value in, and I wanted to provide it to you. That webinar went so well with the people that tuned in live and the people that watched the replay. I got so much good feedback from that, and that was amazing. I didn't pitch anything during that webinar because I didn't have anything to pitch. It's like I was just providing some good value to you. This time around, I want to create that and give that awesome value to you, obviously, right? But I'm also going to pitch you on something. To be totally honest with you, I have something to sell you this time, and I'm going to tell you all about it at the end of that webinar. So if you're like, ew, I don't want to be pitched to, well, then just don't stick around till the end, I guess. But you can still come to the webinar. You can still figure out how to define your core values and how to build your year around that and how to gain and attain meaningful growth throughout 2018 based on those values. And then if you're not into what I have to offer, totally fine. Just leave. It's all good. I am just being totally upfront with you to let you know that I'm going to be telling you all about this group program that I've had in the works for months now, right? I did the beta program. I did the beta run of this group program, the fourth quarter of 2017, and now it is ready to rock. I am so excited to bring 10 creative, big dreaming entrepreneurs into that group program. And so I'm going to tell you all about that when you show up to the webinar, Tuesday, January 16th, 4 p.m. Eastern. If you can't make it live, I'll give you the replay, but you're only going to get that replay if you're registered. So go to marketingandyogapants.com/webinar to register, and I'll be able to talk to you then all about this stuff. All right, you guys, thank you so much for listening. Thank you. It always gets me a little emotional. Thank you for supporting Marketing and Yoga Pants, being on this crazy ride with me. Thank you for being a part of our community if you're in there in Facebook, engaging with the other community members. And thank you for being that creative, big dreaming entrepreneur that you are. I really respect you. I respect what you're trying to do with your life and the tenacity and grit that it takes to continue doing that creative work day in and day out, with all the things that are bumping up against you and creating roadblocks for you. You know, it's not an easy road, and I respect everyone and anyone that tries to walk it. I hope I can walk it with you going into this new year, throughout this year. And I'm here for you. I'm so glad you're listening. I'm so glad you're a part of this community. And Happy New Year. Talk to you soon. Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Marketing and Yoga Pants podcast. Keep the conversation going by visiting marketingandyogapants.com/Facebook, where you'll get to join that private Facebook group I've been talking so much about. There, you'll get to chat with our podcast guests. Yeah, they're in there too. And all of the other brilliant creative business owners. We're connecting, we're meeting our soul sisters, and we're building our businesses, all while in yoga pants. So come hang out with us. Again, visit marketingandyogapants.com/Facebook to get in. And one more thing. If you dig this podcast, would you be awesome and share it with someone? This entire Marketing and Yoga Pants movement is nothing without its community. So please share. And if you're really feeling the love right now, jump into iTunes. You're probably already there if you're listening to this right now. And leave us a rating and review. The more of those we rack up, the more the podcast will be found by ladies like you, and the stronger this community becomes. This episode was edited and produced by the Podcast Engineers. They're pretty great, so go find them at podcastengineers.com. This episode was also brought to you by my online marketing agency, Jam Marketing Group, and you can find us at jammarketinggroup.co. That's all for now. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you back here next week on the Marketing and Yoga Pants podcast. Love ya. Bye.